So why are more Coloradans considering an addition as opposed to moving? Believe it or not, there can be a great ROI. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about home additions, pop tops, and kind of larger scale renovations, and how much that can cost, as well as where you're going to get the best bang for your buck, plus some other subjective things that sometimes matter more than the dollar. So let's start off with additions. Now, if you've got a large lot, older home, smaller footprint, an addition is a great way to go. Building costs can vary anywhere from $300 to $600 per square foot or more for ground up construction. In our experience, if you are in somewhere like the city of Boulder, high-end finishes, some people are paying upwards of $800 to $1,000 a square foot. Again, we're looking into the luxury market. $300 to $600 a square foot is pretty standard. Now, depending on what type of addition you're adding or how much square foot you're adding to your home is going to really determine the ROI. So we want to have the best use of space, and we want to make sure we're expanding the right spaces. So if we're just building a larger living room, that's not going to give you the same bang for your buck as adding storage and pushing out a wall for a kitchen, right? And sometimes when we do that, we push out a wall for a kitchen, we go up and there might be the primary suite right above the kitchen. That's going to be a huge return on investment, whether that's long-term resale value or desirability of the property in general, having that larger gathering space, more storage, more kitchen space, more appliances, and things like that. Why additions can beat moving, right? So additions beat moving because you can keep things like your school district, your community, your commute to work, right? So some people need more house than they currently have, but they really love where they live. So again, this comes more of a question of a subjective nature. Are we interested in staying where we are because we love where we live, our proximity to schools, job, friendly neighbors, whatever it might be? Then an addition might be a great way to go. Some of the most desirable additions are going to be adding to that kitchen, adding to that primary suite. We can do a full-on pop top as well. So some people go, what's a pop top? It's exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna cut the roof off the house and you're gonna add a whole nother floor. We're gonna install a staircase. We're gonna make maybe your primary suite upstairs or multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms on a second floor. So that gives you the ability, if you have some of these older homes that have 2 or 3 bedrooms and only 1 bath on the main level, you can keep that 1 bath as a guest bath, turn the 2 bedrooms into a larger living space, office spaces, move your primary suite upstairs, lots of storage, or again, primary suite and additional bedrooms. Colorado specific constraints, so things to consider. Whether you're in Colorado or anywhere in the nation, there's gonna be rulings and zoning, planning, building departments that are going to tell you exactly the scope and size of the projects that you can take on. So some places it's simply the footprint. So meaning you can go a certain height, right? I don't know if you're gonna go 3 or 4 stories. We don't see that very often, but you're going to have so much where the house sits compared to the size of the lot. So we call that the footprint, right? So if you have a 1,000 square foot house, you wanna do a pop top, you have a 2,000 square foot house and you didn't change the footprint. We didn't bump out, we didn't change the layout of the real structure, we just went up. Again, alternatively, you can go out. If you want to keep on 1 floor, add a bedroom, add a primary, make your kitchen a little bit larger, things like that. Again, that would be changing the footprint. There's going to be different rules and regulations for that. We got to take into account expansive soils, the freeze-thaw cycle with crazy amounts of weather that Colorado has. I mean, this week right now, recording this in October, not quite yet, slow down. We're recording this in October, and it was almost 70 degrees last week, and it was 40 and rainy yesterday, right? So when we get into those winter months, we have to take into considerations the types of concrete you're using in foundations, the types of drainage for snow melt and for rain. And then, Colorado's a high desert. We don't get a ton of rain, but when we do, you want to be prepared for it because water will mess your stuff up. So expansive soils, drainage, mountain living, right? If we're going to be changing your footprint, how rocky is the soil. Like if you're in the foothills of Boulder, there's going to be more excavation. Sometimes they even use explosives, believe it or not, to shape or move rock. It's called the Rocky Mountains. There's lots of rocks in our soil in certain areas of the Colorado Front Range, especially if you start going into places like Summit County. So excavation costs can go up and can be a factor in calculating your ROI. So we just spoke about some specific things that may be unique to Colorado and constraints to consider when building. The next thing I want to discuss is planning traps. So planning traps to avoid, right? We don't want to underscope our project. We also don't want to overscope our project. What that means is I don't want to spend, I wouldn't encourage you to spend $300 to $600 a square foot to add 10 square feet, right? Like it's going to be really hard to extrapolate an ROI from like, oh, we need to change the footprint to add one closet, right? That would be really uncommon and cost prohibitive. What's going to drive your ROI is, again, what space are we expanding? Are we adding a primary suite? Are we expanding the kitchen? Are we adding bedrooms? Are we adding bathrooms? Those things are all going to make a huge difference as opposed to just, making the living room bigger. Now, objectively, especially with some really big views, big windows, and mountain views here in Colorado, you might have a little bit more of a objective desirability, but to extrapolate that into an ROI is going to be a little bit more difficult than I know that a larger kitchen typically is going to bring almost a dollar for dollar value back to the house. Our experience in both real estate and construction, we're going to be able to look at that cost per square foot, what we're looking at in a neighborhood, use comparable sales with real construction costs, and that's something that's unique about JROC's value is that we have a lot of experience in both real estate and construction. So not only are we going to be able to help you understand the cost to build, but also the true value of your home if you're considering a resale. Rule of thumb, I used to say 3 to 5 years. It's 5 to 7 years now in Colorado. If you are going to buy a home, you should plan to keep it for 5 to 7 years and you are almost guaranteed to make money. I would say with a scope of work this typically large, we're talking into the several hundreds of thousands of dollars for additions and pop tops, I'm going to encourage you to say, hey, you plan to be there for at least 5 to 7 more years to make that return on investment for an addition here in Colorado. One more thing to note, something that's going to drive cost is going to be your level of finish. So we talk about those big windows, panoramic doors, really, really cool, really fun to install and a great finished product for views. They're going to increase your cost. So $300 a square foot, we're looking at builder grade, right? Really basic. Yes, I need a bigger kitchen. Yes, I need another bathroom, primary suite, whatever it might be. But when we start going into the level of finish, especially in that luxury price point, you want backlit exotic stone in your kitchen or in your primary bathroom, ensuite bathroom. Those types of things are going to drive cost towards that higher end. So let's book a consult. Again, maybe it's not the best move for you to do an addition on your house, and we can help you find the right time and place to buy and sell. Or, again, we can discuss what's your long-term plan, what's your long-term vision. We really believe in a design, build, live process here at JROC. So that means we're going to spend a lot of time doing all what I like to call the work before the work. We're going to figure out plans, architects, engineers, soils tests, utilities, all that stuff. We're going to figure out all that stuff before anybody picks up a hammer or a nail. Okay, so we're going to go through a thorough design process, which makes the build process really easier to ensure that you love where you live. Book a consult with myself or my partner Jamie to discuss options for your home if you're considering an addition here in Colorado. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please like, comment, or share. Don't forget to subscribe to JROC's YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Rocco Montana. Have a lovely day.